Welcome to Miss Gibbs History Corner. Today we will be looking at historical sources and how to find if they are credible. You might be thinking, why do I need to know this? Am I ever going to use this outside of class? Why should I have to learn this? Those are all great questions. Let's say in the future, you hear something either in the news or in a newspaper. You want to know if this information is correct. You need to look at the credibility of your source to find if the information is truthful. For now, let's look at an example that might be more useful for you. Little Nico and Kieran have a history assignment where they have to write an essay using 2 credible sources for information. Nico says,
2 credible historical sources? How do you tell if a source is credible?
Kieran says,
Yeah, what even is a historical source anyway?
Great questions, boys. First, a historical source is something that tells you about history. Historical sources can be documents such as books, newspapers and transcripts, photographs, paintings, and videos. To tell if a source is credible, you need to look at 3 things. The author, who wrote it or who made it, where the source came from, was it on a website, was it published by a newspaper, and the information. What is the source providing you with? What is it saying? Let's look at 2 fictional sources. Both are about a large charity event that occurred in February of 1955. Source number 1 is a newspaper article. Source number 2 is a book. The first thing we need to check is the author. We will check their educational background and their past works. The newspaper article was written by Donald Ruth. He had a master's in journalism, has worked for this newspaper for 5 years, and has written articles similar to this for 3 years. The book was written by Britney Spears. He has a bachelor's degree in creative writing. He has written 12 fictional novels prior to writing this book. Looking at both authors, which do you think is more reliable? That's right, author number 1. Not only does his educational background give him the skills and experience to write an article, he's also worked in journalism for a while and has experience writing similar articles. Number 2 specializes in fictional writing, meaning that they're not real, although they may use some correct information. Now let's look at the source. We will look at who published the information. The article was written by the London Herald. The London Herald is known for not being biased. They always give clear and transparent information and always refer to where they got that information, their sources. The book was published at potato.com. When looking for credibility with an internet source, the first thing to look at is the top level domain. Generally, reputable sources can be found at .edu, educational websites, as the rest can be bought and used by anyone. Looking at both sources, which do you think is more credible? That's right, the London Herald. They are known to be reputable rather than the ambiguous potato.com. Now let's look at the information the material provides us with. The article was written about the charity event. It describes what the event was for, who was invited, who showed up, the band playing, the food served, and how much money they made for the charity. The book tells us about a woman working at the event falling in love with the event coordinator. It provides a few details about the event's venue and who was involved. Which source provides the most relevant information for this essay? That's right, the news article provides us with all the necessary details we need for writing our essay. Overall, which source should Kieran and Nico use? Great answer. The news article is written by a reliable author, has a reliable source, and the information is transparent and straight to the point. This would be an excellent source to use in an essay. Let's review. To find if a source is credible, you need to look at the author, where it came from, and the information provided. There are other things that you could look at as well. You could look and compare other sources to see if they provide the same conclusions or information. Always look out for bias. Bias can skew the information you are given. Look for strong words or phrases that seem to be more of an opinion rather than a fact. If you're diligent, you can find the credibility of any source. Thank you for coming to Miss Gibbs History Corner. Work hard today.